Alright, good morning everyone. So I've been trying to go long inside of this earlier price action here, and it hasn't really worked out. It's worked out initially, like it gives me some upside and it comes right back down. I've been trying to do that on a different account, but we're beneath the midnight open. We have this buy side liquidity. This is that area that's not filled in. I want to see if maybe price is willing. If I wanted it to go there, back at around 8:30, then I wanted to see if maybe 9:30 was willing to make a move lower, which it did. And I wanted to see this low protected, so I do not want price to go beneath this low. Right now, I wanted to see 1 minute order blocks or fair value gaps beneath midnight open. However, as you are seeing, it was not working. So now we're further into the 10 o'clock hour. There's no news today, so it's okay for price to be slower, and I want to see now an inverse fair value gap work out. So I'm looking at this 1 minute one. If we close above here, I'm willing to long try something like this. We're seeing a little bit of momentum here. If we're willing to close above this, I would be willing to long. We haven't closed above it. If we close way above it, I might not take it though because of the RR. I'd rather, because it can always drop down and be in this gap. Pretend like I had gone in here at the close of this candle. I mean, I'm currently going to be tapering that. Now my bias, it can go as high. I would be willing to look for trades to go as high as this buy side liquidity. I'm not saying it's going to get up there, but once we reach up into that buy side liquidity, if we do, I'm not looking to long. Well, I wouldn't be looking to long above midnight, but I mean, the trade idea would be killed. That's like the most I'd be willing to hold a partial for. Okay, we got tricked in. Now, I'd like to see some of these up close candles, like this one, for instance, eventually support price once we get above it. I want it to be like climbing a ladder. There's a big up close candle here. Eventually I want that to turn to support. I'm watching that 50%. Seemed like we closed above it. Just the looks, yeah, 50%. So this could be a point of resistance. Could be asking for a break-even stop. if we close above this order block, I'm putting my stop to break even. I mean, I could come back to my stop and then keep running higher and work out, but I'd rather just be out and instead of seeing a big retracement. I also want these order blocks to hold price. The down close candle right there. And the midnight open. Just stop is at break even. I want this order block to support price. I'm gonna sell 6 at this level here. It's about there. I'm just gonna get out now. I'm gonna hold the rest for, well, at least this level. So I don't know when I'm gonna get rid of the rest, but depends how I feel, maybe how price is moving. I think I'll get rid of once it clears this level. I'm looking at that wick too, because this would be around the 9:30 open, so in the regular trading hours gap. What do we have? No, we have no gap really to fill. Whoa. What's going on? Okay. Insufficient memory. Is that what it said? Yeah, I'm just gonna sell the rest. So now I have one left, and I mean, I don't like to hold trades for very long, so I'll probably get rid of it. Want to see if it can make one nice run really quick higher before retracing, like a violent move up to clear out these highs well. I'll probably sell it there. I'm gonna start to choke my stop up. Yeah, I'm just gonna close the rest. Alright, so basically, if I break down, let me turn off the executions. Thought process. Alright, so I came in at the very beginning of the day. And yeah, I could still hold it. It doesn't matter to me if it keeps going up, though. I don't care. But very beginning of the day, let me show you my Notion journal. Alright, so I came in and I said, okay, there's a clear range that swept and took sell side right during London session. Now, if there was news and volatility, I would have wanted this range to not really be traded back to. Okay, usually what happens during an expansion day, so we did trade into a daily fair value gap. So on the daily chart, we have a huge fair value gap here, and we could trade back into Thursday's range. Okay, usually when we have a setup like this, if we're trading back within the week's range, I don't think London should have formed a low of the day here with this run lower during London. So I'm projecting that range because I want to see price respect this range and not trade beneath and make a new low of the day. I want the New York session, it can retrace at 9:30 open to get beneath midnight open to seek more discount and to get people short, to get people thinking that we're going to make a new low of the day. Okay, but no, it's just when Asia is consolidating and London sees a quick sweep like this, and we've retraced back above London range, we're rarely going to go beneath the low. We're usually just going to continue going higher. We can retrace inside the London range, but you know, we obviously respected this level here, and we just retraced a little bit. So on the 15-minute chart, you see this run. Now we have no news today, right? So usually I don't know if I would have wanted to see it retrace that low, but still it respected this level and it stayed above this level. Okay, so I was watching for that. Now on the 5-minute chart, I mentioned at the 9:30 open, after the first 15 minutes when it ran lower, I did take a long on a paper account to see if I went on the 15 seconds chart and I saw this big wick up. I tried to long a little too early with this gap, And what I didn't do is I didn't wait for an inverse. If I would have waited for these gaps above here for price to close above them, right, that would have been higher probability, and I would have had a better run. But I waited instead to trade on this account, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a trade, so I didn't record the whole thing. But when I saw this big gap, I knew that, okay, everyone's gonna want to short this and hit the low. I was even in a couple chat rooms, and I wanted to see people shorting when I was decisive after 10, around here, when it failed to make that lower low in the rejection block, failing to make a 15-minute lower low. I wanted it to be really explosive, really nice and explosive. Trading above that fair value gap right there, and I wanted to see people be decisively bearish that it's going to drop down and hit the sell side liquidity here, but it didn't. Instead, you see it went up, and look at that, almost like no drawdown, absolutely zero drawdown. Okay, maybe the spread gave a little bit of drawdown, but very quick run up into that buy side liquidity. Okay, with almost no retracement up here this high. And again, it can keep going higher. I'm just not interested in holding it, right? I'm not really interested in holding it. And yesterday, I recorded yesterday. There was a really nice play here, which worked out pretty well. I wanted to record yesterday, but I recorded the wrong screen. So I didn't take a trade, but I was talking about this, and it's the exact same thing that happened yesterday, right? We dropped down at this 15-minute. It's a consequent encroachment. So we dropped down. Is this, yeah, here, you see that candle on the 15-minute chart? 50% of that wick, it's also inside a fair value gap. So we dropped down, and I was highlighting this real time as it was dropping down into it. I have the audio, so I'm probably going to do a voiceover. But I'm showing here in this one because I don't know, it's the exact same thing that happened today. But it dropped down into that, faking a run lower. Okay, people are probably thinking Thursday it hit the higher time frame buy side liquidity on the daily chart, right? This high here. So everyone and their grandmother was probably thinking it's going to short, it's going to go down. So it gave an initial drop lower, and then it ran higher at 9:30 open, reversed at London close, and dropped lower. Everyone that had shorted after hitting this buy side liquidity, shorted this initial move lower, they lost money with this run up at 9 and 10 o'clock and 11. They got stopped out at 10 o'clock, and then price went lower, right? And people want to sit here and tell me there's no algorithm. But so here we have this drop down into this fair value gap. Okay, I'm then looking for price to start climbing and using these 5-minute. This is a 15-minute, not a 5-minute. Maybe I'm actually trying to point to this one. I'm trying to see it use these order blocks and these 5-minute fair value gaps as support, resistance into support. And you see there's a big bearish fair value gap, and I'm longing at the close of that, drop back down into it, and it runs up really quickly all the way up to, again, I don't have to hold it up here. If I was taking this trade real time, I'm not trying to claim that I would have held this whole range. No, not at all. As you saw me today, I only was able to hold it for about 20 points. But yeah, I would have probably held it for 20 points above this high, inside of this, taking profit inside of this wick. So yeah, but now what I want to do is I want to tape read a little bit. I'm going to do some work, and I'm just going to continue the recording and see, okay, let's just say I had kept a partial and I'm still in this trade. What's going to happen? What would I be feeling like? What would be the emotions? So we're going to stay in it, and I'll probably be on mute most of the time. But so far, right, we're not filling these gaps. We're retracing. You see that 5-minute gap? I don't really want to see back here be traded to. I said I would move my stop up to break even, right? That's because I want these PD arrays now to support price, and I don't want fair value gaps to be traded to and filled. So this should be a breakaway gap, right? And I want to see, maybe we could use this 5-minute gap as a measuring gap, right? So, you know, the 15-minute might be creating one. We could maybe use this as a measuring gap. But basically, I want these gaps to stay open. I don't really want them to be filled. And if it does hang around, it's not quick to the upside and it fills them, that's probably where I would have just closed my partial. Okay? But anyways, oh yeah, I hope that was insightful. Oh yeah, let me show the account summary. Yeah, so the total, we're now at, I think this is a new equity high, 25,692.4. So I believe we got up to like 25. Let me see. I have the P&Ls. Yeah, I believe we had gotten up to 25,479. And we took a loss and dropped down to 25,278. Now we just had a $413 win to bring us up to 25,692. Okay? And I need to screenshot this.